This woman intended to use a suitcase as a raft to cross the entire Pacific Ocean. Subsequently, she climbed onto it impatiently. As expected, the small suitcase couldn't bear her weight. The woman flew into a rage. Having been trapped on this deserted island for dozens of days, although she had no shortage of food and drink, she was deathly afraid of the island's nights, for there were terrifying monsters lurking around the island. As night was drawing near, the woman quickly composed herself. She was well aware that she had to build a hiding place. When she laid eyes on the coconut trees soaring into the sky, a brilliant idea for taking shelter instantly sprang to her mind. Right after that, the woman found a tattered canvas. She used a wooden stick to poke a small hole at its edge, and then firmly secured her belt and a rope to the tree trunk. Before long, a hammock several meters above the ground was ready. When night fell, the woman couldn't fall asleep, constantly fearing that the monster would discover her. But after a long while, there was no sign of anything amiss. Just when she thought she could get through the night unscathed, she suddenly heard a spine-chilling growl coming from directly beneath her. At that moment, the woman was so tense that she seemed to stop breathing. She could only desperately resist the urge to look down. Fortunately, the sound gradually faded away, and she managed to escape this ordeal, feeling a huge sense of relief. The next day, the woman sat on the beach, racking her brains to figure out how to break the current impasse. Just then, she suddenly spotted an air cushion boat floating on the sea. Immediately, the woman sprinted towards the sea without hesitation. When she got closer, she indeed saw two people on the life raft. The woman immediately started gathering supplies in a flurry to leave the deserted island. However, her actions were obstructed by the other two. They had simply had enough of that endless sense of helplessness while adrift on the boundless sea. Even though the woman vividly depicted the crises on the deserted island and swore by it, the two remained unmoved. Instead, they thought she had been alone for too long and was suffering from mental issues. So, when they weren't paying attention, the woman secretly pushed the life raft towards the sea. But just as she was about to succeed, the two noticed the woman trying to escape alone. In this critical moment, the woman quickly leaped onto the life raft, only to be grabbed tightly and pulled down by the man who rushed over. In a panic, the young woman nearby picked up an oar and struck down hard. Under this heavy blow, the woman immediately sank into the sea and lost consciousness. When she came to, it was already pitch black night, and her hands and feet were bound tightly. She tried to break free and hide quickly, because her intuition told her that the terrifying monster was very close. Suddenly, a heart-rending scream from the young woman came from the seaside. Remembering what the woman had said during the day, the man quickly grabbed a torch and rushed towards the seaside. Soon, he indeed saw a 2-meter-tall monster. He aimed at the monster's chest and struck, but not only did it have no effect, but he was also sent flying by an elbow strike from the monster. When he struggled to his feet, the monster and the young woman had vanished without a trace. At this point, the man was filled with overwhelming regret. If he had listened to the woman, things might not have ended up so tragic. Early the next morning, the two prepared to leave this terrifying place. However, the woman who climbed onto the life raft first suddenly froze. She saw a large, shocking pool of blood inside the life raft. She seemed to realize something. It was as if she had stepped out of one terrifying hell, only to enter an even more dreadful one. Presumably, there had been more people on this life raft originally. Danger once again loomed over her like a dark cloud.